Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Mark. I'm an entrepreneur and property investor, and in today's video we are going to revisit the HMO, which is now complete. The one that 2 weeks ago they said they were going to get completed in 2 weeks. They made it, they got it done. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. But before I do that, I've just got to do a quick consultation call and then we'll head up to Northamptonshire and have a look at this property. So 1 second.
Hey, is that Mark?
Hey Edward, how's it going?
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, very well, thank you, very well. How can I help you, buddy?
Yeah, just got a few questions about...
Yeah, no worries, tap into my experience.
Yeah, so I've got a few to bear with me, but one of my main ones is your thoughts on Samuel Leeds.
Not you as well! So let's head up to Kettering now that call's done, and for anybody who doesn't know, that is in response to Samuel Leeds, who was poking fun at me for once saying on one of my videos that everybody wants to know my opinion on Samuel Leeds. But this is a serious property channel here. We're going to go up to Northampton, we're going to have a look at this HMO, I'm going to talk you through all the figures. I'm wearing my bag on one shoulder, and do you know why? Because when I was at school back in the 80s and 90s, you were cool if you wore your bag on one shoulder. Is that still the case? I don't know. But look at that, old habits die hard, right? Let's head up to Northampton. So we've made it, and hopefully I won't walk into the wrong house again down here. But here we are, we've arrived in Kettering, and this is the finished HMO. So I'm going to flip the phone round so that you can have a good look through. And that's the view from the road. It's a very handsome property. Let's go in. So here we are, guys, 4-bed mini HMO tour. Now, quick disclosure, the builders have said they haven't quite finished everything off yet. They were on a really tight deadline due to the carpets and the furniture being delivered, and during COVID, getting those rebooked has been almost impossible. So they decided to just get it done as quickly as possible. So things like lampshades haven't been done, there's some switches that still need to be changed. You know, we're not talking about anything major, so you're still going to get the full flavour for what it's going to be done, but just bear in mind there's still 3 or 4 days work just to get everything absolutely finished off. So this is the communal room coming through here. Let's have a quick look at this. I mean, really, really high ceilings. It looks absolutely fantastic. And we're still waiting for a sofa. Apparently 18 weeks delivery DFS have given us on that. And the table and chairs is still waiting to come. So unfortunately, these sort of things are taking a lot longer than they normally would. And this is a really fantastic space in there. Behind that window, we're going to have a laundry room. Now, it wasn't originally going to be designed like that, but the builders have sort of suggested, why not move all the utilities and they'll build a little workbench and have some clothes horses in there. And I think that's a fantastic addition to a 4-bed mini HMO, because you just wouldn't really get it in this size of property very often. So really, really happy with that addition. Going through into the kitchen, I think you'll agree, that tiling looks fantastic. Kitchen, they've decided to keep the kitchen. So it's really important on these sort of projects that you don't overspend. It would have been easy to rip out the kitchen, put a new, even more modern kitchen in. We could have changed all of the architraves. We could have changed all of the skirting boards. But I'm adding, right now, just by these few words I'm saying, I'm adding £10,000 to the cost of this reno. And the rent is going to be about the same. So guys, when you're doing these mini HMOs, unless you're targeting the very, very top end of the market, it's not necessary to overspend. And it's one of the biggest things that people do wrong, in my opinion, when they're doing these sort of projects, is just going overboard on the finish. This is going to rent out very quickly, just as it is. And that's even before the builders sort out things like the boxing out that needs to go down there. We would rent it out like this. I mean, they will tidy all this up, of course, but it would rent out just fine like this. And we need to fit the bar panel. But look, we're talking minor things really to get this into a finished state. So really, really happy with this. This is going to be fantastic. And as I was saying earlier, this is going to be the laundry room. I think a great room. What an amazing addition to a 4-bed mini HMO to have a laundry room specifically for you. Absolutely fantastic. So moving back through the property, let's go and have a look at the bedrooms, because that's where we're going to get our money from. So back to the point I was making about the skirting boards, for example. We could have changed all of these, but honestly, that's not what tenants were worried about. This is what tenants are worried about. Have you got super fast 100, 200 meg broadband? And the answer in this instance is yes. It's here for you. So let's go into the bedrooms and see how this one scales up. Going down this step, I mean, it's a fantastic room. Absolutely massive. Absolutely ginormous. What a great room. That's going to rent at $450 all day long. And that's a really nice room. It's going to go straight away. There's no question that room is going to be gone in days. So let's head up the stairs. Have a look at what we got up here. So remember, all the rooms up here were good. And this is the smallest, and it's really not that small. It's a really good size. Obviously got a window going over to the back. Got a nice double bed. All the furniture's the same in all the rooms. Absolutely lovely, really clean, really nicely finished. I think the walls in this one's been replastered. Left the skirting. Again, replacing the skirting's expensive. Don't let anyone tell you it isn't. It is. You can quickly add lots and lots of money to your renos if you start doing all of those things. And then we've got new switches, new lights, all that sort of stuff. Absolutely fantastic. Let's go through to bedroom 3. There's me. Hello. Let's turn this round. Oh, wow. Yeah, really good size room. Again, when you're on these cameras, it just doesn't really come through, but I can tell you the height of these ceilings is just huge. I can't reach the light bulb, and that's hanging down like, I don't know, 12 inches or so, 14 inches. I can't even reach it. It's such a high ceiling. It's massive. And going through here, again, you know, we keep the banister. You know, you could easily put a nice glass banister along there. Give it a really modern feel. Guess what? The rent's the same. Rent's the same, you just added £1,000 to the cost. So we don't do that. We make the money. And then coming through here, yeah, really, really good sized master bedroom. And yeah, no, absolutely huge. So I was asked recently on one of my consultation calls why we only have single occupancy bedrooms, and I'll tell you now. So if we were to rent this huge bedroom, and it could easily have a couple in it, we would suddenly become licensable because we'd have 5 occupants. And at 5 occupants, we would have to put in an extra bathroom. So all of a sudden, we're starting to create costs. So putting in an extra bathroom, let's say £5,000. Then we've got to do HMO licensing. Then we have to go through all of that process. And actually, for the extra rent, we're probably only going to be able to get £25 a month extra for a couple rather than having it as a single occupancy. It's just not worth it. So when you're doing these things, always think about it. What is the added value? What is the added cost? How long would it take me to recuperate that cost? And is it what the tenants want? So I know in this market that we're not going to struggle to fill this room for 1 minute. We're going to have this filled, I would say, within a week, maybe 2 at the absolute most. So it's just not necessary to spend that money out. But what I suggest we do, let's go back to the whiteboard now. I'm just going to cut straight there and let's go through the figures, because I think it's important that we put all the figures down, we understand what the cost of this is, and then you can make your mind up on whether this is a successful project or whether it's a failure. But I know it's going to come out quite well. So what's the net cash flow on this bad boy, Mark, I hear you say? Let's go and find out, because it is raining heavy. I don't want to be out there any longer. Oh, it's a bit dark in here, isn't it? So guys, we are back in the studio. It is starting to warm up a little bit in here, but it is still chilly. If you haven't already given the video a like, please do so. I massively appreciate it. And if you're not a subscriber, why not consider subscribing? We put out content every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so all property related. And if you're a subscriber and you want to take advantage of my one-to-one consultation calls, have a look in the description, there'll be a link in there for you. So let's go through the figures on this property, okay? So the purchase price, this was £147,000. Legals and stamp, around about £5,000, and the renovation has come in around £17,000. That means that the total amount that this property has cost is £169,000 at this point. Now, beyond this, we're having to use theory. And the reason we have to do that is because until it's all taken place, we don't know what the revaluation figures are going to be. We don't know what all these bills are going to be. But we have to use theory at this point, otherwise we would never make an investment. So, based on my experience, I expect the revalue of this property to be somewhere between 185 and 195,000. There are lots of comparables in the area, and if you have a look at the bigger, wider, square-fronted ones on Rightmove, you'll see that there's a couple for sale anywhere around the 190 to 200,000 pound mark, and then going up from there. Now, in the area that this property's in, I really expect it to get 190,000, and I know that Gareth, the investor on this one, has put in for a revaluation at 195. So we'll see how we get on. But this is going to give us a theoretical profit of between 15 and 25,000 pounds. So what I've done is I've done some sums based on a revalue of 190,000. Now, the previous mortgage is 110,250. The new mortgage at that price would be 142,500, which means we can work out exactly how much cash will be returned to the investor, which in this instance will be 32,500. Now, from that, we can work out how much money would be left in the deal and how much you would have paid for the property. So once all of this comes out in the wash, there'll be about £26,000 left in the deal. So what's he going to get for that £26,000? Well, first of all, he's got £47,500 worth of equity, which is fantastic. But beyond that, he's also going to get a cash flow. And the reason we like these mini HMOs is that they do cash flow so very well. Now, I know from experience this is going to rent out for around £1,700 a month. And it's going to happen quickly. We're doing a lot of stuff in the area. It's working really well. The management fee on that's £170 a month. The voids and maintenance. Now, we put this in at £170 a month. The reality is, on the front end of the property, i.e. once you've just refurbed it, it's unlikely you're going to hit large numbers of voids and maintenance. But later on in its life, you're going to have to pay to refurb it. So we always like to put in a 10% allowance for that. The mortgage I've checked with Gareth is £287 per calendar month. This will obviously increase once the refinance has taken place. The bills, that's going to be £150 a month, roughly. Council tax, £100 a month, roughly. And that brings our costs to about £877 per calendar month, giving him a profit of around £823 per calendar month. When I was looking at this deal at the beginning, I thought that it would be a profit of about £800 a month. So that's pretty much bang on where I thought it would be. In terms of the return on investment, all things being considered, as long as it comes out with 190 valuation, we're going to be looking at about 37%. If it comes out a little bit higher at 95, you could probably push that past 40. But either way, a cash flow of about £800 a month into his pocket, pure profit. So a really, really good deal. He's got £47,000 worth of equity, only £26,000 of his own money left in the deal, and £800 a month. So what are your thoughts? Do you think this is a good deal? Is this one that you would like to own? I think it's quite a grand property from the front, and quite often with property, I quite like the ones that have this sort of presence on a street. But what are your considerations? Considering the figures, I think they're fantastic. Location's great. And I always say I'd rather buy in a better location with a slightly less ROI than in a terrible location and have an issue on my hands for the rest of ownership. So what are your thoughts? I've been Mark Parham. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you again on Monday. Thank you.